semen retention and being dominant. You're going to be very, very dominant when you get on semen retention. Very, very powerful. You're going to be walking around like a muscle man. Even if you don't have muscles, when you get on semen retention. Like a guy that's buff. Even if you're not buff, you're going to be walking around like you're buff. It's going to give you that dominancy. You're going to have the mindset of being dominant. You're going to have the willpower that's going to make you dominant on semen retention. This journey is going to take you a long way, man, when it comes down to being dominant. See, but I don't want you guys using your dominance for negative reasons, to project negative energy. I want you guys to use your dominance to project positive energy, to help. You know, you're going to be ripping boxes apart like it's nothing. Picking up boxes that you thought was heavy when you wasn't on semen retention, it's not even going to feel that heavy no more. It's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to give you that power. Pushing stuff over, picking stuff, you know, moving stuff out your way. You're gonna be like doing it like it's nothing, like it's lightweight when you get on semen retention. It's gonna give you that power, bro. That willpower that comes from the soul when you on semen retention. And when it comes down to your purpose, you're gonna be very, very dominant when it comes down to your purpose. Because that's something that makes you happy. And that's something that fills a void in your life. So you're going to be doing that 10 times more. You're going to be spending more hours on your purpose. Because you're going to want it more. And it's going to give you that power, that dominancy that you need for you to succeed. You're going to want to be at the top. You're going to want to be the top rank dude when it comes down to your purpose. You know, if you in a field in college, you know, you might go for the first degree, but you're going to try to move up to the highest degree in that field. It's going to give you that much dominant power. You're going to be so dominant, you're just going to want to move up there. Studying, passing tests. Just being mental dominant. You can be physical dominant and mentally dominant as well. I'm telling you, man. You being dominant on semen retention, you know, guys ain't gonna want nothing with you, bro. They're not gonna want to fight you, bro. I'm trying to tell you. But you might have some jealous guys. But you're going to know how to deal with that. You're going to know when to use that dominance. When it comes down to protecting yourself, you're going to know when it's necessary to use that. So you're not going to just try to start stuff with guys unnecessarily just to, you know, just to exercise your dominant power. You're not going to just do it unnecessarily, bro. But you're going to have it in you. You know how police be walking around, you know, all masculine, you know, and seem like they're dominant and confident. You're going to be walking around the same way, but without no gun on your hip, no nothing, no whip on your hip, no none of that. No, you know, no mace on your hip or any of that. You're just going to be yourself walking around like that. Very confident, very dominant. You're going to want more out of life. You're gonna want more out of life. And your goals, you're gonna want to meet them so bad. You're gonna go above and beyond. I'm telling you, when it comes down to semen retention, it's going to make you very, very powerful. You will have so much influence. You know, people gonna look up to you. Want to be like you. Because of your dominance that you have. and your power that you have. You're going to be respected. You're going to be a done daughter on semen retention, man. You know, you might get guys that they might look at you funny, but they're not going to try you. They're not going to put their hands on you. And if they do put their hands on you, you can exude that dominant energy, that dominant power to defend yourself, to win that fight. You're going to naturally defend yourself on semen retention. Naturally defend yourself. Because it's going to give you that confidence, that power that you need to want to defend yourself. You're going to know your worth. Man, semen retention is going to change your life for the better. I'm telling you. When it comes down to being dominant, man. It made me dominant. When it comes down to doing all these videos every single week, it's making me dominant. I'm staying consistent. I'm not stopping. It's how I get what I want out of life. It's how I get the lifestyle that I want. I'm not stopping this journey. But you're going to have a lot of power. Women, they're going to, you know, they're going to respect you a lot more. Because it's going to be all in your walk. They're going to be they're going to tell that you're dominant by the way that you walk on semen retention. Women. By how you talk. You being sure about what you're saying. You being confident. Man, it's going to give you all of that, guys. But being dominant, man, you got to have self-control. I don't want you guys out here being dominant unnecessarily and end up in jail. Because the guy said something to you, you know, and you just went up there and punched him in the face and, you know, knocked the guy out. That's not how men act on semen retention. You know, semen retention is not going to get you to react like that. I don't want you guys to react to it like that. Just because you got a lot of power and you got a lot of energy. I don't want you guys to react like so quick and unnecessarily to negativity. I want you guys to be in masculine frame. And be a man. But yeah, guys, man. Semen retention is going to give you the dominance that you want, man. And like I said, it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks to feel that you being dominant. Like, you're going to feel the dominancy. You're going to feel it, bro. All in you. I'm telling you, I can feel it right now. All in me, bro. But yeah, man. But semen retention, man, it's the best thing that a man can get on. I'm telling you. I wouldn't have it no other way. You know, this is the practice that men need to be practicing. And it's sad that so many men don't want to practice this. They think it's a gimmick. It's a lie. They go 1 or 2 or 3 days, don't feel nothing, then they'll relapse. Nah, bro, you got to go to 2 to 3 weeks to really feel something. Depending on your age. But you're going to end up feeling something if you go long enough. Trust me. You're going to feel a difference. You're going to be more manly. More solid. More mentally confident. It's crazy, man. Semen retention, you know what I'm saying? It's life changing. It's a cheat code to success, to life. To live that life of abundance, man. It's a cheat code. It can get you there. You wonder why boxers can have sex, you know, for a couple of weeks before the fight. It's called semen retention. That's why they can't have sex. Because, you know, they need that semen in them. They need that protein, that nutrients, that vitamins, the minerals, the brain matter, the focus, the consistency, the dominance, the willpower. That's why boxers can't have sex weeks before the fight. It's all science, man. Man, but I hope you guys saw this video, man. It's cool.